All right. Welcome back into GoBlueRaiders.com. Chris Massaro joins us for kind of a year-end two-part interview. This is part one, or part two. Part one was about a lot the on-field successes, and we kind of ended that first segment talking about the youth of our athletic program and how so much of the young talent is from this area. And it's an opportunity for this town to embrace these teams. And that's the motto going into 2016-17, our town, our team.
Yeah, and that came up through our marketing department. Mark Owens also embraced that idea, and I like it a lot because it says a lot of things. And number one, that we are one. Our town, our team. It's one unit. So we're getting our players from Murfreesboro. It's important for Murfreesboro and our surrounding area, Rutherford County, to come support us.
Yep.
And to watch these guys play, because it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, and we want to win our own town for sure, which is Murfreesboro, but our town extends farther out into this entire mid-state area.
And that's the thing that we want to be is we want to be beyond Murfreesboro. We want to be beyond Rutherford County. We are Middle Tennessee. So this is where Middle Tennessee is located. It's located in our town. These should be our teams. And come out and watch them play because it's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, and all of that starts this fall with football, soccer, volleyball, and other sports that will start out as soon as school gets underway. Football practice field right behind us. We're just a couple of weeks away from that getting active. But the going into the 2016-17 year, one of the jobs the athletic director has is balancing the books and finding revenue streams, and that's so important for the team, for the town to embrace the team, because one of the greatest resources you have are people walking up to that ticket booth right down below us and buying tickets.
And quite honestly, Chip, we all know it. That's our biggest area of growth.
Yep.
And for us to become the department we really want to be, and what our fans want us to be, is we have to sustain our success. We have to be able to sell tickets and be profitable at home, where it's more important to play at home than it is on the road. So it is critical for us. We've got a lot to sell this year. We talked about some of the individual talent that we've had. We've got a bowl team coming back in football. We've never had a better situation in men's basketball to sell tickets. Rick Insel, my goodness, how good's he been the last 11 years? So that just keeps chugging along. So it's really time for people to get on board and get behind this thing. For us to take it to the next 2-3 levels, is that we need to get that groundswell of support.
You've got 5 home games, but you've got 6 games in the region.
Yeah, and I think it's important for us
to treat that like a home game almost.
And yeah. I've heard a lot of stories. I was not lucky enough to be AD for the first Vanderbilt game.
It was unbelievable. Yeah, it was crazy.
And at least half,
more than 50%,
were Blue Raider fans. And so I would love to see that. We need to make a statement that this is our town, our team.
Yep.
And to go up in there and to let everybody know, let the Nashville media know that we're a real presence. And it's going to be a great game. It's going to be a fascinating game because you got the Vanderbilt defense that had a lot of success last year versus our offense, which had a lot of success. And so you got kind of Tony Franklin and Derek Mason kind of matching some wits. So as a football fan, I'm eager to see it. And obviously, I think we've got a great chance to come out of that one.
The immovable object and the irresistible force, right?
Bit, so let's see what happens.
Outside of winning the basketball game and moving on to the second round of the tournament, what has been the lingering effect of the Michigan State win?
Well, it depends on who you talk to. I mean, you talk to Coach Davis, and they've received a bump in recruiting, and I think there's an article or two just recently about that, and they're able to get in on some guys, and our name recognition is much higher. I think that what we're going to see, and I'm eager to see the sustainability of what it does for our season tickets, and because I think it's a great product now. People were exposed to it, and I think that our attendance will go up. I'm eager to see that. That's yet to be determined, and as we build our program, it's also made it easier for us to schedule. and people now know the name Middle Tennessee. I think we're going to
gives them a reason to schedule
it does.
you.
It's not.
And you've got a little leverage when it comes to getting home
game.
games too.
It is, and I think where we're really going to see it is the quality of our non-exempt tournaments. We've been working with ESPN, and hopefully in a week or two we'll be able to make an announcement for not this upcoming year, but for the 17 year of a really fabulous exempt tournament that we're going to go to, and so we've seen those kind of effects as well. So I just think the general awareness, and I think it runs deeper, Chip, than the athletic department. It's going to make recruiting students a lot easier, particularly out of our region. So far, all of our numbers with customs and applicants are up for enrollment. So I think there's a lingering effect across the whole university. So too many people kind of just pigeonhole it as an athletic department deal. But if this thing is bigger than that and can help the whole university.
Well, that all fits into the entire university package, and the entire university package fits into where are we in the landscape of college athletics. Conference USA had a change in commissioners this year.
Yeah.
Judy McLeod is the new commissioner. And you're also starting to hear whispers of the deck chairs moving around again in college athletics.
The Big 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just kind of take that and run with it a little bit.
Well, and I think the Big 12 holds those expansion keys, and I think there's a lot of debate within their league of what should their next move be. You saw that they're going to do a championship game, and will they expand to 12? And if they do, who do they take? And so some of that becomes critical, because then the dominoes start falling again, and then if they take a couple out of the American, then will the American look to Conference USA or other schools to backfill? And so that's when the jockeying's really going to occur. But we've always said that Conference USA is a great home.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily our destination, but it's a great home. And that while we're in the conference, we need to be like what we were last year, the best competitive team in the conference in all of our sports.
Yeah.
And we've proven that. And so that's our challenge for next year.
One of the things as part of all of this is that made headlines this spring is the conference television package.
Yeah.
It has changed. Middle Tennessee may be in a position to withstand some of those changes a little bit better for several different reasons, as far as revenue sources, things like that, and also the ability to produce our own product. And so that's going to be interesting to see. I think Middle may have the opportunity to take advantage. We're going to have the same number of games on television probably. You might just might be a little adjustment of where you're going to find them.
Yeah, and I think what we as a department need to do is a very good job to educate our fans on where to find our games. And we're going to really make that a priority this fall. I think that there's a lot of advantages to the TV contract. Number one, that we're back on ESPN. And so if you're not on ESPN, in a lot of ways you disappear off the national landscape. Number two is that we have the ability, as you mentioned it now, to be on ESPN3 and maybe to produce our own shows, our own programming, our own games. And we've got a great partnership with the School of Media and Entertainment, and what they do, and to give those kids valuable experience. So we are very well positioned for that, for all of our sports. This isn't just football and men's and women's basketball, it's for all of our sports. And so there are a lot of advantages there. A lot was written about the financial, which we shouldn't take that too lightly, because we are getting less in rights fees than we did a year ago. So we need to be very careful stewards of our money this upcoming year. And then we also need to grow our own revenues. What I was talking about earlier with ticket sales and booster club donations, we've got room to grow by volume. And if there's ever a year that we really have a successful year at the box office, kind of need it to be this year.
Yeah, and kind of dovetailing on what you're talking about with the expanded locally produced content, the conference and ourselves will be expanding digital and streaming content, which will obviously make more opportunities for local sponsorship sales. So it's important for those folks to become involved with the program in that way.
Well, Learfield people better get busy, right?
That's
Chip?
right.
And so as Chip's is right on top of that, but that is important to us, and to put out a quality product. And I think what it's doing is, it's because we've all read about cord cutting and what is TV going to look like in the next 5 years, and most of it will be on our phones and tablets, and a lot of it's already gone that direction. So this, in a lot of ways, is forcing us as a conference to really dive into those mediums maybe before we wanted to. But I think in the next 2 or 3 years, we'll look back and say, you know what, that was a real advantage, because now we're ahead of a lot of other leagues in terms of what we're trying to do and what we're trying to produce, and to get it out on your tablet and get it out on your iPhone and all those other places that people, TV is going to be a lot more portable than it's ever been.
Yep. One other thing we want to mention as we wrap up here, and I think one of the unsung pieces of the success that Middle has had over a long period of time, you look at stable leadership from Dr. McPhee to stability in the athletic administration, and in your coaching staff. I mean, you had a volleyball coaching change, but other than that, your head coaches have remained very, very solid.
Yeah, and I think that's one of my goals coming here is in the job, to see if I could create an environment that would foster that. And a lot of it was already here. So because Coach Hayes was here for eons, Coach Pete was here for eons. So a lot of that culture was already here. With our football coach and our men's basketball coach and our women's basketball coach, really wanted to make sure, it was my goal never to let them leave for a peer school. If they went off to the University of Georgia or an SEC school type for where they double or triple their pay, then there's not a whole lot you can do. But to set an environment where they would be happy here and feel like they have a chance to win championships. Now, I think stability lends itself to success. And we've really seen it with our football program that no longer, I don't think we go through major rebuilding periods that we're going to have to replace some linebackers this year, but some of those guys have already seen the field a little bit as backups. And so you can see our 2 deeps and 3 deeps progressing all the way through. And the same is true with Kermit and men's basketball. We can see what the team's going to look like in 2 years from now and 3 years from now. And there are some cornerstone pieces for him to always build upon. And if you're changing coaches, you lose that. You lose that continuity, and then people don't learn from their mistakes, that they remake the mistakes. This coaching staff makes this mistake. You bring in another coaching staff and they'll make the same mistake. And now we can kind of learn what works and what doesn't work. And I think that's been a big, big key to our success. And I couldn't be more pleased with the results.
Well, you can tell by this day in July, it's a little warm out here for us.
Got me sweating.
But right out here, August 3rd, football reports, the countdown is on.
I can't wait. I mean, summers are fun. It's nice to take a breath, but we're here to play games and light up the scoreboards. We look out and see the baseball, and it just ended, and I just can't wait for the new season to start.
All right, appreciate the time.
Thanks, Chip.
All right, Chris Massaro, our Director of Athletics here at Middle Tennessee, and that is the second of our 2 parts. You can always catch reruns on our YouTube channel or on GoBlueRaiders.com. So be loud, be proud, and be blue, and we'll see you here at Floyd Stadium.